My name is Hernan Dracefield. I'm the Director of Product Development at Origin PC.
So Hernan, what are you showing here at CS? This is a PC, but it's also a console.
That's correct. So what we've done is we've created the all-in-one streaming system. So this has a console on one side and a full PC on the other.
So tell us what's on this side of the PC.
So this is a full gaming PC. This one particularly is powered by Ryzen processors, but it's fully customizable. Everything from Intel to AMD. You choose whatever memory you want, whatever storage you want, motherboard, chipset, GPU, the whole deal is fully customizable.
So yeah, this side you have a PC. Now on the other side you have something really cool.
It's a little different on the other side, yes. So this is the PS4 edition. On this side we have a full PS4 Pro, Sony PlayStation 4 Pro.
So talk about how did you get this in here? What were some of the challenges when removing? Because the PS4 is stacked literally on top of each other.
It was a challenge. Taking it apart is literally just ripping the chassis apart. But we don't use the shell anymore, so that's fine. Once we took it apart, we had to figure out how it was cooled, and we had to kind of mimic that cooling. So some of the challenge were getting that cooling in this chamber because there's not a lot of airflow here. So when we first mounted it, we found that leaving the back plate from the console helped cool it, so we left that back there. Behind the board is actually its original backplate, helps cool some of the chips that are back there. Then what we've done is we've modified a Corsair H60 cooler, the bracket for it, and mounted it to the chip of the PlayStation 4 to liquid cool it. And basically it runs from one side, from the PS4 over to the other side. There's a radiator on the PC side that cools the actual PlayStation 4.
They had some issues with heating, specifically with the PS4, and you added these things onto it. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we added a couple heat sinks, so once we put it together, we ran it as it was, overheated right away. So we tried to figure out how it was cooled in the chassis, and we started cooling those points. So when it's built in the console itself, those chips are cooled, so we added some heat sinks. After we did that, obviously still overheated because we needed to get some airflow through it. So although this is a prototype, we've changed a couple different of the rear exhaust fans. The actual production version has a beefier fan, and what we've done is we actually have the PlayStation controlling all the fans. So one of the neat features of this case is that it's not dependent on the PC to run the console. Some of the ones we've done in the past, when the PC shuts off, the cooling for the console shuts off, so your system overheats. These are totally independent. The cooling for the console is run by the console and powered by the console.
And over here you have a similar build.
Yes.
And of course this is the PC side, 100% customizable. It's whatever you want.
Yes, whatever you'd like.
Right?
Sure.
But this is an Xbox One S digital version.
Edition, yes.
Which you'll explain why in a minute, why you had to
Sure.
do that one. So talk about how you built this together.
It's similar to the PlayStation, same concept. It runs a little cooler, so it's a little bit easier to work with. It applies the same dynamics to that, so it's cooled the same way. It didn't require as many heat sinks as that. In fact, all it needed was to cool the chip itself. That's all it requires on the Xbox. And the reason we're not doing the Xbox One X is because the Xbox really likes its optical drive. So on the PS4, if you remove the optical drive, it's perfectly fine with it. Functions normally as it would. You just don't have the optical drive. You download your games, as many of us do. On the Xbox, while it runs without the console, without the optical drive, the minute you try to update it, it will fail. So we went with the Xbox One S All Digital Edition. Microsoft did the work for us to remove the optical drive, and all we've done is thrown it in here.
So now that you've opened both of these systems up, which one did you like better to install on these PCs, and which one were you more impressed with when you finally got into the innards of these massive manufactured machines?
So the one I liked to disassemble, I hated the PS4. Literally have to break it to take it apart, which is ridiculous. The Xbox was easy to put together because a lot of the parts were already mounted to the board. So all I had, this is a prototype one. The actual one, the actual production one is going to be a little bit different. We're able to use the mounts on the board, like for example, the power supply and the hard drive are mounted to the board, so that we could just leave it on the board and then mount it to the case. So we don't have to come up with any custom mounts for it. This one is a prototype, a little bit different, so the final will be more compact. The PlayStation 4, I was actually impressed that I got it to fit in there. The challenge with the PlayStation 4 is that the power supply actually mounts onto the board with two prongs. So when you try to remove it away from the board, the challenge is powering it because now there's not making connection to the board. So we had to make specific cables to extend that connection. And it was basically just make the cables, test the voltage, hope it works, and sure enough it worked. And I was impressed that it worked.
So these are prototypes, but you're actually manufacturing these.
Yes, these are available now.
What do they start at?
Starting at $24.99, and that's on a base PC, but Origin PC, the starting at price for the PC is still a gaming PC. So our starting PC is not going to be something with integrated graphics. It's going to be a full gaming PC, and then you can upgrade from there.
Now, if you wanted to get it even lower, because most the consoles do, this is obviously for a streamer who's playing console games, makes it
Sure.
more simpler. So if you only need the system to stream, you can go pretty low since all the hard
Correct.
going by the
Yeah,
Xbox.
so that's where that $24.99 price comes from. If you want a beefier PC because you like the game when you're not on or like the PC game when you're not on the console, you can beef that up or not.